Okay. Okay. I wanted to make a video that was for people who are in the process of starting over, because that's pretty much where I'm at in my life. I definitely went through a lot of circumstances where I was like, okay, now you gotta turn the page. Okay, now you gotta find the new chapter. You might have to throw the book away. You might have to throw the whole book away and just start a new book, because what you was doing, babe, it was not working. It was not working out. And starting over is an art form, one that queer people, specifically Black queer people, know all too well. And whether it's like moving to a new city, or leaving a relationship, or rebuilding after a loss, or reinventing yourself, I think a lot of us, whether we like to admit it or not, we're all constantly in the process of learning how to begin again. This video is about that journey of being in this raw form where you have to start fresh. And I'll share my story and a bit of the lessons that I've learned, and hopefully I'll give you something that you can take on your path as well. In case you don't know me, which you probably don't, I only have like 200 subscribers. My name is Kyle J. I'm an artist, I am a curator, I am an entrepreneurial baddie, okay? But I also am living in a time where none of that is making money right now. Like in 2025, I mean, that is not any type of field where you can make money right now. It used to be in 2019, 2020, like 2020 to 2010, that used to be the time where you can do that and be fruitful. But now, babe, it's scary. It is a scary place to be a creative right now. And yeah, all that to say, make sure you subscribe. That was supposed to be my intro, but what does starting over look like in my life right now? Well, you know, I moved. I was living out of the country. I decided to move back home to Houston, Texas. And Houston, Texas is a new place. It is not Houston, Texas anymore. It is hashtag Houston, Texas. It's very trendy now, and it's very expensive now, which is crazy because we are in Texas. Like, we are not in Bora Bora, we are not in Paris, we are in Houston. So that's just been kind of jarring as somebody who, I am a native. I was raised in Houston, and I left when I was 17, and I moved to New York. And New York, that was a time, child. That was a time. I was all up and down these streets, and that was a really fruitful time for me. And then I left the country, and now I am back home. And yeah, the process of me starting over has been a roller coaster, to be honest. I was kind of in like a raw state, but I was kind of maintaining until my father passed away about 6 months ago. And after that, I was like, oh, we have got to figure it out, because it just was a wake-up call that like nobody is going, the government does not care about you. Like, the US does not care about you at all. And if you don't have the funds, like, it can get scary very fast. And so that's what triggered me to like move back home and try to figure out everything. And that level of loss is something that nobody can really prepare you for. It's one thing when like people kind of talk about it, or like somebody that you know has lost a parent and they kind of tell you what they went through, and you're kind of casually just like, oh, okay, whatever. But when you actually go through it, in my experience at least, it is completely life-changing. It's like somebody literally grabbed you and held you upside down underwater for an extended period of time. That's how it feels, just like walking around every day. And you know, I'm in the process of like kind of coming out of that, kind of rediscovering who I am in the midst of navigating loss. And to be honest, it's been like a bit terrifying. And a lot of people have been like, oh, what are your goals? Like, what are your plans? And it's like, I have to make new goals and new plans. Like, the goals that I had, I don't feel are, I'm trying to find the right word. There's goals that I had before my father passed away, and there's goals that I have to now create now after he has passed away. You know what I mean? Like, it's a new phase I'm going into. So when people ask me that, I kind of just like stare at them blankly, because quiet as it's kept, I've achieved a lot of my goals and a lot of my dreams already. Like, I had a goal to star in a commercial, and I starred in a commercial. I had a goal to curate an art exhibition. I curated an art exhibition, you know? And so it's like, okay, is this an opportunity for me to dream bigger? Is this an opportunity for me to recreate myself in a way that really makes a difference and an impact? I think so, but that process is not a neat process. And for queer people in particular, it's like a lot of us have to start over and over again, whether that be like physically, like transitioning our bodies to be more comfortable with who we are, and also like starting over because maybe somebody who we thought loved us is not showing up for us because of who we are. You know, that type of bullshit, you know, that shit we gotta go through. And so it's like, if anybody knows how to start over, I find comfort in knowing that it's queer people, and I find comfort in knowing that there is a community of people who will have your back. Starting over isn't just a reset, it's also a creative act. It's about learning how to fill the gaps in your life and learning how to become new again. And it seems impossible, but it takes a certain level of magic that queer people of color inherently possess. And right now in my own life, I feel like I'm in that moment of starting over because the universe is encouraging me to tap into that magic, something that I have been too afraid to tap into now. Why do I sound like Elphaba? Stop. And a lot of things that happen when you start over is that your relationships change completely. Like, for example, I remember I had this one homegirl, you know, she is filthy rich. She comes from a lot of wealth, a lot of money, a lot of prosperity, which is good for her. But me coming from generational poverty, us being friends in the first place was kind of like a little miracle. And so I'm in the space of understanding that our friendship was more so because I was in a good space in my life, and I, on the outside looking in, it looked like I had it all together. But now that I'm in a space where I'm like navigating loss and trying to figure out how to make that work with my finances are going crazy right now. The jobs are not jobbing the way they used to. Oh, baby, she has left. I have not seen her. Like, I think she got one hint that I might be broke, and she was like, I can't deal with that no more. Which is great for her, right? Because she has the like social mobility to do that. But for me, it's like, oh, okay, that probably wasn't a real friend. I think I've become more aware to like what type of friendships are like real friendships and what type of friendships are just like friendships when things are going good. Because I don't want fair weather friends. Like, I don't want friends who are only there when the sun is shining. I want friends who are there when it's raining and I gotta catch the bus, but my Metro card expired. So are you gonna give me a swipe, or are you just gonna look at me? Or, you know, I want friends who also know how to handle those moments. And it's also making me look back at my former friendships, you know, specifically with like the people I met in New York who were like there in the past. And it's making me wonder like, okay, let me tap in with them, because, you know, I cannot take things like that for granted anymore. I just have a deep understanding that like life is short, and the people who were there for me in the down times are people who I need to surround myself with. And can you truly start over with the same people in your life? Yeah, of course. If they're good people, you know, if they love you and care about you. But if they only love you when, you know, you going viral on Instagram and, you know, your artistry is popping off, then I mean, it's giving goodbye. Sometimes love shows up as support, and sometimes it shows up as, a lot of people don't know how to love. They don't know how to love someone who doesn't come from like the same background as them. And so I've been like kind of mindful of when people are like, oh, I love you so much. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that exactly mean? Do you love me because, you know, I have a lot of good ideas because I'm a creative and you can kind of use that to help you build your business, and then once you become poppin', you'll go do your thing? Or do you actually love the fiber of who I am? And if I'm honest with myself, I think the biggest question I have right now is maybe I don't need to like look for that externally. Like I think I need to just find that in myself. Like I need to learn how to love myself even when my output is not making $1 billion, or even when I'm like struggling. I need to learn how to be okay with that person, and it's been challenging. And yeah, it scares me. It scares me a little bit because it's like I am starting over, but it's also like I have to kind of have a bit of radical optimism, or what a lot of people call delusion. Because if I don't feel optimistic, and if I don't believe in myself, then it's like, who the fuck is, you know? So it's funny because I've been like taking a lot of chances recently, and I think a lot of people have like this close-off perception of who I am and what I'm capable of, but I have to like keep operating from a space of no, like I'm capable of so much more. And no, like I don't have it together right now, but I am capable of getting it together, and you gonna see. Like this next phase of my life is like I f***ed around, but now y'all about to find out. And so I'm trying to get into the find out phase with people. And that's exciting, but it's also like I gotta leave a lot of parts of my old self behind too. Like I gotta leave behind a lot of doubt. I gotta leave behind these kind of voices in my head that are telling me that I can't do it, because not for nothing those voices were triggered by other people who told me I can't do it, not me, because I've been a confident person for a while, you know. And I think once I figure out that, then I will make room for a lot of new possibilities. Who knows? Maybe this YouTube thing might take off, or I mean, I think YouTube, there was a chance for it to take off in 2015, 2014, but now we're in 2025. It's like a lot of things are just getting lost in the algorithm. So we'll see where this video ends up. Oh no. But I think, you know, starting over is a queer art form, and that might be a little too deep for a lot of motherfuckers. I hope nobody watching this voted for Trump, because this is not where you need to be, and please get out of my comments because I will just delete them. Like, you, I don't give a fuck. Sure, like, you can kiss my motherfucking ass. I don't give a fuck. This video is for queer people, okay? Kiss my But yeah, I think starting over is terrifying, because it's like, what the f? Like, what are we really about to do? Like, Trump is in office, but there's also a bit of freedom in knowing that I'm still in a country where I can be like, f that nasty, dusty, crusty motherfucker and his nasty ass incel fucking friends. F that nigga, that new Cybertruck, Tesla truck, it's ugly. That shit looks terrible. I don't give a f how rich that nigga is. I don't give a f what they do. We can still stand up and fight back, and we can still keep going and keep trying. And if you're watching this and you're a queer person and you're in a space where you're starting over, just know that it sounds mad cliche, but you're not alone. I think a lot of us are kind of just like figuring it out right now. And it's not about like forgetting the past, but it has to be This is a time where a lot of us are gonna have to like transform. We're gonna have to carry the lessons and the love and the creativity, because that's like what has made us who we are. And that's something that nobody can ever take away from us. So if you're in your own moment of reinvention, like me, just know that I see you.